Your genes and schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a chronic and severe mental disorder that affects how a person thinks, feels, and behaves. People with schizophrenia often have a decreased ability to function at school, at work, and in social settings. Schizophrenia is largely due to genetic inheritance and affects 1% of the population, meaning about 1.5 million individuals suffer from this disease. Researchers have recently revealed that many genes may be involved in susceptibility to schizophrenia. There are over 22,000 genes associated with this disease.
Specifically, the genes C4A and C4B have been identified as major risk areas for schizophrenia. Variations in the alleles of these genes lead to different amounts of C4A expression. The higher the expression of C4A, the higher the risk of schizophrenia. These results express excessive synaptic pruning. Complement proteins C1q, C3, and C4 originate from the HLA system, serving a number of critical functions in immunity, tolerance, and autoimmunity, with the other numerous components. They also participate in synapse elimination, tagging inappropriate synaptic connections between neurons for removal. During synaptic pruning, the brain eliminates extra synapses. Synapses are brain structures that allow the neurons to transmit an electrical or chemical signal to another neuron. In schizophrenic patients, researchers have found that they had fewer synapses in the prefrontal region compared to the brains of people without mental disorders.
Schizophrenia does not have one distinct genetic variation. Rather, there are many different combinations of small mutations that are unique to each individual patient. Because of this, we are going to include 100 generic variations on our SNP clip. Research has identified 24 SNPs and 22 separate genomic loci as associated with schizophrenia at the genome-wide level. Specifically, we are looking at two high-risk SNPs. RS1625579 demonstrated significant association with schizophrenia under the alleles T versus G. The recessive model showed the trait, while the dominant model did not. This affects brain functions as described earlier, including the proteins that made stem cells. RS4122948 has also been reported as a high risk. This SNP causes cytokine receptor abnormalities, which are related to the immune disorders, prenatal infections, and of course schizophrenia. Both of these alleles have high magnitudes of greater than 3, meaning that they have a direct association with the disease and are probably worth your time.
The main reason individuals would benefit from taking the genetic test we designed is because it would give personalized statistical data on the likelihood for them developing schizophrenia. There are also some medications a patient can take to control their symptoms, and the earlier the symptoms are recognized, the more effective those medications can be. With our test, a person could have increased warning of said symptoms, which can lead to a much better treatment plan. The base risk of someone who has had no family history of the illness is 1%, while if someone in their extended family has schizophrenia, the risk increases depending on how close the relative is, the highest being 50% chance of heritability for identical twins. Therefore, family members close to the testee would know if their chances for developing were increased as well. Although the test can tell you some statistical data, it is important to remember these alleles cause a very slight increase in the risk of developing schizophrenia, and it is not yet certain which combination of mutated alleles cause the disease. It's also important to know that the extent to which schizophrenia is hereditarily passed down is unknown.
Individuals could misinterpret their test results, which is common because genetic testing only shows relative risk. Patients may lose hope for the future and permanently alter their mood. In severe cases, patients may even commit self-harm as they feel like a burden to friends and family. Individuals may feel vulnerable to discrimination in the workplace. An example of this was getting laid off because of their genetic disorder. Because of this, genetic privacy is of utmost importance in these cases. Schizophrenia is a terrible disease, and our SNP test may help future scientists eliminate the variations that cause this mental illness.